couple years ago, we were on a really cool fire on the border of Nevada and Oregon. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called, but it went to like a couple million acres. Like it was really huge just because it's in that grassland and it moves super quickly. And that was one of the strangest fires I've ever been on because, well, like, very light, flashy fuels. And then it was just, I don't know if it was an extra dry season or something like that, but the first day we rolled up and there's just like fire everywhere. And they called us in, and I forget what size it was, but we literally got there while it was still like a type 4 or something. And we were just like trying to suppress it, and then like boom, there'd be fire over here and fire over there. We're having to like move our buggies, and then we finally got an anchor point, and so we're like cold trailing because that's what you can do with that kind of grass because it's gonna just go out if it stops moving. It's going out, and so we're cold trailing, and then we leapfrog with another crew, and they're below us, and we were coming up this hill, and nobody was really checking our back door, but we had pretty good eyes back to where we had started. And then we start to see, and it's like these big, sort of steep, but still rolling hills, and we start to see this smoke come up from below where we had started, and then we just see this wall of flame, like, shoot up, paralleling the line that we've been cold trailing, and just like, and of course in that situation it's scary, but you just go further into the black and you're totally fine, but it just, just a wall of flame, like where the fuck did that come from? And, it was just because they had just missed something really, that crew below us had missed something really minor, and it had just completely blown out. And just, like I said, extremely volatile. I'm not sure what the story was that year, but, it was ranch land, and so these ranchers, so that first shift, we were just running all over the place, and just trying things that just didn't work. And, but it's in that really cool kind of fuel type that, you get these spectacular burnouts, and it looks like, the world's coming to an end, and then it's all totally over, like within seconds, and then like a couple chains back, you can just hop right into it because it's already cold and it's like a safety zone already. But there were a whole bunch of ranchers who had a lot invested in that area, and they were like, no, like, you're not making this fire any bigger by burning out. Like, we're going to go direct with or you're going to go direct with the dozers or whatever. And so we just kept trying to go direct and like kept trying to cold trail, and we kept having to like back off because shit would just like, stuff would just get crazy. And then we went to go do we went to a section to go burn off of a road, and like this whole time, we've been there for maybe a week by this point, we've just been like chasing spots and like running around, then discovering that a spot that we had like spent, well into the night lining was actually totally interior, and like it was just big and confusing. And like, no, it was so big that none of us really, people in charge didn't even really know what was going on. And then, so we were doing a burnout with another hotshot crew, and it was like maybe 1,300, and so we're burning along this slope, at the top of this slope, that it goes down and there's a drainage, and then on the other side is the fire backing down the drainage. And so we had, like, I was kind of the lookout, and I was taking weather, and as a lookout, I was kind of like a mobile lookout. So I went down into the area we were burning so I could get eyes on what that fire across the drainage was doing. It was kind of a weird lookout situation. But, so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, like, that looks good, cool. And then taking weather and stuff, and we're doing this burnout, and then this little thundercell comes up and like parks over us, like T-cell or whatever, which was weird because in the Southwest that's like a standard thing, like at noon or whatever, you get the cumulus buildup that turn into storms after July. It's like the pattern that you have every day. But this was like Nevada, and so first time fighting fire in Nevada too, so I was not really sure what the standard weather patterns were. So this little like nugget of a storm cell comes up, and like he's like right over our burn, and then like within seconds, like we get this, like, a burst of precip, and then, boom, like that fire that's on the other side of the drainage is racing up underneath us. It is like fully hooked under, and it's like just like you know, bombing towards the line and towards our vehicles and everything. And so we ended up having to run out and hop in the vehicles and like drive out as fast as we could. But obviously, like it's like a true track, and our soup ride had been getting flat tires the whole time too. Like we'd been getting flat tires all over this place. For some reason, the soup ride was on. It's like a big toolbox dually. It was on 4 tires by this point, and so it was just terrifying. You know, if you got another flat and then like the soup ride holds up everybody else, and we all get burned over. And so we ended up getting out of there in time, but somebody on the other hotshot crew that had been on the line ahead of us actually ended up sort of in a bad situation, but they ended up totally fine. But that was just a really interesting day. And that whole fire was just so fucking weird. But at the very end of it, the ranchers, I think, or somebody was finally like, you know, let's just burn it out a little bit. Like, we've actually made it... The fire's way away from the ranch land now. Like, it's almost had to die now. You know what I mean? And so they... we ended up doing this just awesome burnout for, I forget how many miles. But it was sort of like my first story where we just burned and burned and burned. And the burnouts they just looked perfect. We had perfect winds the whole time. And it was just like the quickest solution as opposed to all the crazy, stupid stuff we've been trying for like the week and a half before that point. But anyway, yeah, it was a good fire.